Hi, everybody. I'm Dick Dale. And in case you don't remember me, I was the tall, young, thin, dark-haired boy on the show. Well, I'm still tall. 1 out of 4 isn't bad. I'm going to have the pleasure of being your guest host this week. Lawrence likes to take a few days off now and then, so he's asked some of us to fill in for him. Mighty big shoes to fill, but we'll try. As you can see, we're on one of the beautiful golf courses here at Welk Resort. I've had the pleasure of playing here many times with Lawrence. In fact, this is where he had one of his famous hole-in-ones. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It happened right over here while we were taping a special. And it was really very funny because there wasn't a single camera on him at the time. You see that little champagne glass over there? That was built and designed by Johnny Klein, who was our great drummer for so many years on the band. And of course, a champagne glass and bubbles have been Lawrence's trademark from the time he played at the William Penn Hotel in Pittsburgh in 1939, a little time before my time. Well, anyway, tonight's show, which was first aired in 1974, picks up on that theme. It's a celebration of Lawrence's 50 years in music, and it opens with a very appropriate number, I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. Here's a little something to get you in the mood.
Thank you so much. Yes, I am Forever Blowing Bubbles. Welcome to our golden anniversary. The way I'm enjoying my life, I just wish it could go on forever. When I left the farm in Strasburg, North Dakota on my 21st birthday in 1924, I never dreamed I would be here 50 years later, actually talking to millions of people at one time. This evening, we're going to touch on a few highlights of these 50 wonderful, wonderful years. Let's start the show with the Champagne Waltz. And Cissy, may I have the pleasure? Thank you.
That's our boss, 50 years in show business and looking better all the time. For a long time, you know, our boss has been identified with one particular word, and you'll find it in this next song title. Let's listen to Lawrence's daughter-in-law, Tanya, with Henry Cuesta on the clarinet.
Wonderful, it's marvelous, you should care for me. Soulful night, paradise, what I like to see. You made my life so glamorous, you can't blame me for feeling amorous. It's wonderful, it's marvelous, that you should care for me. It's wonderful, it's marvelous. Soulful night, paradise. You made my life so glamorous. You can't blame me for feeling amorous. It's wonderful, marvelous, that you should care for. You made me feel so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah.
Wasn't that nice? Tanya and Henry, wonderful, wonderful. That's one for each of you. This year, my wife, Fern, and I are celebrating our 43rd wedding anniversary. I'm a very fortunate man. My children and grandchildren all live close to us. Mrs. Welk stays busy with the grandchildren, while I keep busy with the band, with my children here on the bandstand. For all you folks who feel as I do about family life, here's an appropriate song. It's delightful to be married in typical Champagne style. Gentlemen, a 1 and 2 and...
quite agree with Lawrence. It's delightful to be married. My wife, Marguerite, and I have been married quite a few happy years. In fact, 40 in November. We have 4 lovely children, too. Rick, Danny, Petite, and David. And here they are when we were all a little bit younger. And here we are today. Rick now lives in Dayton, Ohio, and the other children all live in the Los Angeles area. Well, shall we get back to the show? Here's Lawrence.
I have many fond memories of my hometown. I still maintain a close and warm relationship with all the folks back home in North Dakota. Ken Delo has a song that expresses my feelings.
I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown, because those dear hearts and gentle people will never, ever let you down. They read the good book from Friday till Monday. That's how the weekend goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day, with a picket fence and rambling roads. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, Lawrence's love for the polka goes back even more than 50 years, back to the days when he used to play for all the barn dances and weddings near his home. Let's listen to one of these polkas now with Myron, Sandy, Gail, and Mary Lou.
Hoop-dee-doo, hoop-dee-doo, I hear a polka and my troubles are through. Hoop-dee-doo, hoop-dee-dee, this kind of music is like heaven to me. Hoop-dee-doo, hoop-dee-doo, it's got me higher than a kite. Hand me down my soup and fish, I am gonna get my wish. Hoop-dee-doo in it tonight. When there's a trombone playing rock-da-da-da-da, I get a thrill, I always will. When there's a concertina stretching out a mile, I always smile, 'cause that's my style. When there's a fiddle in the middle, oh, it really is a riddle how he plays the tune so sweet. Plays the tune so sweet that I could die. Lead me to the floor and hear me out for more, 'cause I'm a hoop-dee-dooing kind of guy.
See what we mean about Lawrence's love for the polka? You just can't keep him off the floor. Lawrence's life, his philosophy, and the system he uses in running our musical family are all based on spiritual values and the golden rule. I think it's one good reason we've managed to last so long in the business. Here's a song that sums up his philosophy. and I think you'll enjoy this familiar hymn by Guy and Ralna.
Guy and Ralna, two great singers. They're really terrific. Or as Lawrence would say, wonderful, wonderful. When Lawrence first began earning his living as a musician, he played wherever he could, at barn dances, county fairs, farm machinery openings, anywhere, including any restaurant where he could get a free meal. There weren't many bubbles in those early days, and certainly no champagne. But in 1924, he got a real break when he met a traveling vaudeville troupe. Here's Lawrence to tell you all about it.
Folks, shortly after I left the farm, I met a man who taught me just about everything I know about show business. His name was George T. Kelly, and he had a vaudeville troupe called the Peerless Entertainers. George tried to make an actor out of me, and it really looked hopeless. But George didn't give up. George finally wrote a little playlet where a dead man was needed, and that's the part I played for the next year. Right now, we're going to take you back to those days of vaudeville, and Ken Dealer plays the part of my first boss, George T. Kelly.
Thank you. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You say you want entertainment. You say you want singing and dancing. You've seen good acts, you've seen lousy acts. We have an act that's both. Here's the good and lousy act, the Three Steppers.
We'd like to take you back to those wonderful days, yes, the days of old Vaudeville. You gotta face the fact they had wonderful acts back in the days of Vaudeville. The comics never failed to make the audience laugh. Then there was the guy who saw the lady in half. We'll never forget those wonderful days, yes, the days of old Vaudeville. wonderful days. Yes, the days of over, the days of over, the days of over, the days.
The days of old Vaudeville. Folks, when I first started out, there was at least one ballroom in every town. And I guess we played practically every one of them. We're going to bring back a few memories of the ballroom days.
Pardon me, miss, but I've never done this with a real live girl. Straight off the farm with an actual armful of real live girl. Pardon me if your affectionate sweets bogs up my goggles and buckles my knees. I'm simply drowned in the sight and the sound and the sense and the feel of a real live girl.
Nothing can beat getting swept off your feet by a real live boy. Nothing else charms like a waltz in the arms of a real live boy. Speaking of miracles, this must be it. Just when I started to learn how to knit, I'm all in stitches from finding what riches a waltz can reveal with a real live boy.
Speaking of miracles, this must be it.
Just when I started to learn how to knit,
I'm all in stitches from finding what riches a waltz can reveal with a real live girl. You know, I think I sang Real Live Girl at least once a year to every girl on the show. Not that I'm complaining. It's really not too tough to sing to a pretty girl. I just don't appreciate being upstaged by somebody younger and taller. In case you didn't recognize the guy who stole my gals away, it was Tom Netherton. Now let's get back to the show and Ken Delo, who seems to be very busy emceeing an old-time radio program.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is radio station WNAX in Yankton, South Dakota, bringing you the best music of this year, 1927. For your listening and dancing pleasure, we bring you some merry melodies and toe-tapping tunes. Here's a delightful ditty played by Lawrence Welk's Hotsy Totsy Boys, featuring Bob Lido on the vocals.
2, 3, 4. Does the chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? If you chew it in the morning, will it be too hard to bite? Can't you see I'm going crazy? Won't somebody put me right? Does the chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? Does the chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? If you pull it out like rubber, will it snap right back and bite? If you paste it on the left side, will it turn up on the right? Does the chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight?
You know, I never have found out whether chewing gum loses its flavor overnight. I wonder, did you know that Lawrence actually had a band called the Honolulu Fruit Gum Orchestra? And also, later on, in the 20s, he had a band called the Hotsy Totsy Boys. And here's proof. Well, let's get back to the show now and Lawrence.
One of the highlights of my 50 years in music came when we played the Aragon and Trianon ballrooms in Chicago. Our champagne lady at that time, Janie Walton, used to sing Maria Elena on just about every one of my radio broadcasts. Right now, let's hear the song by our charming little Mexican lady, Anacani. Wasn't that nice? Thank you very much, Anacani and Neil Levang. I've always had a warm spot in my heart for Chicago. I not only heard some great bands there, I also met a man who later became my manager and my lifelong friend. Let's dedicate this next song to my distinguished manager, Sam Lutz. And you can see Sam now dancing in the audience with Lois Lamont, my secretary for the past 28 years. Take it away.
Here's a happy tune you love to croon. They call it Sam's song. They call it Sam's song.
Thank you, girls. Same song. Here's a little scene that took place in Grand Island, Nebraska back in 1957. Mary Lou Metzger plays the part of Mrs. Joe Feeney.
Joe? Well, it was quite a job, but I got all our belongings packed, and looks like we're ready to move to California.
California? But I'm only going to sing on one TV show. Why do you got all the bags and all the furniture packed
But
for?
Joe, once Mr. Welk hears you sing, he'll never let you go.
Whoa, aren't you nice?
And folks, she was right. Joe's still with us, living in his little gray home in the West.
When the golden sun sinks in the hills and the toil of a long day is o'er, though the road may be long in the lilt of a song, I forget I was weary before. Far ahead where the blue shadows fall, I shall come to contentment and rest, and the toils of the day will be all charmed away in my little gray home in the West. There are hands that will welcome me in. There are lips I am burning to kiss. There are two eyes that shine just because they are mine, and 1,000 things other men miss. It's a corner of heaven itself, though it's only a tumble down net. But with love brooding there, why no place can compare with my little gray home in the
For about 30 of the past 50 years, Lawrence and his family never really had a permanent home because they were hopping around the country playing one-night stands in just about every community you can imagine. Now, here's a song that kind of tells the Lawrence Welk story during those years, and I hope I remember all the words to it. You ready? Here we go. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Natamala, Paloma, Bangor, Salvador, Amador, Amarillo, Tonkinoise, Armadillo, Farrell, I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Here we go. I've been to Boston, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texarkana, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, Tallapalooza, Glen Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Appaloosa, Tennessee, Hennessy, Chicopee, Spirit Lake, Grand Lake, Devil's Lake, Craters Lake, for Pete's sake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Now comes the tough part. I've been to Pittsburgh, Cockleburg, Rambleburg, Colorado, Armsburg, Rexburg, Vicksburg, El Dorado, Larimore, Havermore, Haverstraw, Chattanooga, Chaska, Nebraska, Alaska, Ogallala, Paraboo, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Canyon City, Sioux City, Dodge City, Cedar City, what a pity. I've been everywhere.
he's not kidding when he says I've been everywhere. The Lawrence Welk Show went on tour at least twice a year, sometimes more, playing a series of one-night stands all over the country, even Hawaii. But I enjoyed those trips. I think we all did. It's a terrific thrill to play to a live audience. In fact, I'm still doing it. I've got a new album out. I've been working a lot with Joe Feeney and Abel Barber doing dinner theaters back in the East. And I recently sailed to Japan with a group of the Welk Stars. We entertained on board ship. Great fun. Recognize these people? That's Marguerite and I on the left. Then Norma Imel, Mary Lou Metzger and her husband Richard Maloof, and Elaine Baldwin. And that's Jack Immel and Jim Baldwin behind them. Of course, I go to Japan quite often, well, every year for the last 5 years, with the great Billy Vaughn Orchestra. Billy lives just down the road from here. We tour every part of Japan from the north to the south. I MC the show. I guess that's the comic relief on the show. And I've learned a few words of Japanese, like hello, goodbye, good morning, I'm sorry. And that's Kazu, my tutor. I love the country and the people. They're both warm and beautiful. Now back to the Lawrence Welk Show.
Here's a man who's been with me for about half of the last 50 years, Larry Hooper. He's one of the nicest people I've ever known and one of the most popular entertainers ever to appear on our show. Here's Larry with the song he helped to make famous. Larry?
The sun is shining, oh happy day. No more troubles, and no skies of gray. Ever since you said those words to me. The moon is shining, oh happy night. Come to me, darling, and hold me oh so tight. I need your lovin', really, yes, I do. You said you loved me, I know it's true. My life's complete, dear, for now I have you. Oh, happy day, oh, lucky me. Oh, happy day, oh, lucky me.
It took 30 years in the business before we had a hit record. Then, thanks to my good friend, recording executive Randy Wood, we had our first gold record, followed shortly by our first gold album. And let's see if you folks remember these hits.
Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched that. My baby left town. You could have done something, but you didn't try. You didn't do nothing. You let her walk by. A bodiodo, a bodiodo, a
Totsy and Bobby, and our thanks to you good people who helped us win those gold records. In my 50 years in music, I've been most of the beauty spots of our great country. Lake Tahoe, the Rockies, Hawaii, the Grand Canyon. And about 10 years ago, we became associated with a mobile home park near Escondido, California, an area I think is one of the most beautiful in the United States. With so much beauty around us, the words of this next song make a lot of sense.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
That was Jimmy Roberts and our chorus. Jim and I are two of Lawrence's oldest living musical children. Well, let's not put it that way. Let's say we have been in the band longer than anyone. I joined in 1951 while we were playing at the Aragon Ballroom in Santa Monica and just getting our feet wet in the local television waters over KTLA in Los Angeles. And Jim came along a little bit later in 1954. Next up is Tom Netherton. You remember he's the one who stole my gals? Well, he had just joined the show and was understandably a little nervous that night. But in this next number, he proves himself a real trooper. Watch.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard you will find to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart. You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can da-da-da-dee, or da-da-da-da-dee. And life gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on the way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as much as you're worth, to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you'll derive out of being alive. And here is the best part. You have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. And here is the best part. You have a head start if you are among the very young at
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you, thank you so much. I would like to tell you, Tom has really been on the sick list, and we didn't think he should do the show, but he insisted on it. So naturally, he wasn't feeling too good and forgot the words. I'm so glad you folks already forgave him. I'm here in the studio. I know our audience will too. There were many times in my early years in music when our band worked for a meal and a place to sleep. Today, thanks to you good people, we're doing a little better. But there's one thing that never changes. The lifeblood of every entertainer is applause, and we still love to hear it.
What is it that we're living for? Applause, applause. Nothing I know brings on the blood like sweet applause.
You're thinking you're through, that nobody cares. Then suddenly you
Hear it starting, and somehow you're in charge again. And it's a ball. Jump all swing, life seems to swing, and you're the king of it all.
you've had a taste of the sound of that love.
Applause, applause, applause. Applause, applause, applause. Applause, applause, applause.
I think all of us on the show would agree with what Lawrence said about applause. It's nice to know that your audience likes what you're doing. Well, that's our show for tonight, friends, and I hope you enjoyed it. It has been a real pleasure for me to share this hour with you. Now stay tuned for a preview of next week's show. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves, have fun, and may all your golf shots be hole-in-ones. Well, you know what I mean, okay? So long.